So today we are making a video on Luberri Linux. Here is the boot menu. So let's quickly boot it in a live boot. And I'm running it on a virtual machine which is a VMware with 60 GB of hard disk, 8 GB of RAM, and my CPU is i5 1240p. So usually the Linux distros will take like a 2 to 3 minutes to boot up to the desktop layout in my laptop. So we need to wait for 2 to 3 minutes to load up properly. So I already made a video of Dragon OS, which is a latest Linux distro, in my channel. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out after watching this video. So it took like a 3 to 4 minutes to load up the desktop layout. So let's first change the display setting. So before changing the display settings, let's check the system resources, which is a system monitor. Let's open system monitor and see how much of resources it's consuming. So process, these are all the processes running right now. So I didn't open any of the applications. I didn't even change the display settings. So this is the base of system resources. It's almost 1.2 GB without opening any settings or without opening any applications. And CPU, as you can see, it's not stable. Let's even check the about system monitor. You get the 42.0. So let's now change the display settings. So display settings should be, I think it should be this one. So it is in a different language, so we need to try to find the display settings here. I think this is it should be in the preference, and we need to find the displays. I don't know where the displays are, so let's try to find the displays here. So I think this is the display. So let's first change the display settings, 1920 into 1080. So it kind of looks like a heavy. Right now it's properly working. So let's keep the system monitor in the right side corner throughout the video so you can see all the changes. So let's see what are the applications we get in the Luberri Linux. So let's check the pre-installed applications. I can't even move the, let's try to move the applications so we can properly see everything. So I can't even move this thing. So let's try to see all the applications like this. So these are all the pre-installed applications which comes with the Luberri Linux 22.04. So you get a bunch of applications pre-installed. So it's almost like a bloatware applications. There are tons of applications added by the Luberri Linux. So let's first check the info. So I think this is some issue with my mouse or something like that. Let me try to fix this. So can't even move these things. Okay, let's go to the internet. Let's close all those things. Let's go to the internet. So you get a bunch of applications here, which is a Chromium web browser, Firefox, and Thunderbird, some other applications. I'm going to choose the web browser of Firefox. So we need to go to the official website and get the some information and also the ISO files from there. I'm going to show you the downloading process and all those things. So let me first close this thing. There is a separate tab opened. So let's check the version of the Firefox. So you get the 119.0. So let me type in about support. To get the distro information and some browser information. So the keyboard keys isn't properly working. So I need to, I think it's called colon or semicolon like that. So I can't even properly type it because of the language. The keyboards are also different. So I'm going to close it. Let's type in once again about. Let's see 7. So we need to find the semicolon. So let's try to find the semicolon here. It's Mozilla support, it's not the about support. So we need to find the semicolon. Let me at least copy from the search bar, which is semicolon here. Let me now copy and paste that. I don't know which keyboard key is semicolon, because the keyboard will change when the languages are different in the distro. Let's try to. So in order to put the semicolon, you need to find the specific key in your keyboard. When the language is different like this one, you need to try to find typing like some other keys to get the semicolon. When I'm trying in the United States English keyboard or the QWERTY keyboard, I'm trying to click on semicolon. I didn't click on semicolon. The semicolon was changed with some capital N or something like that. So there will be, I forgot to mention that there will be some misspeakings and spelling mistakes in my video, because I'm going to keep a video raw as possible. So that's the reason I'm going to be having some misspellings or misspeakings throughout the video. So you need to try to ignore it, or else you can just blame it in the comment section. I don't have any problem with that. So let's get back to the video and get some of the information here. So you can just pause the video and read everything here, like a theme and some information is right here. You can just pause the video and read every information here. I don't want to make a video lengthy, so that's the reason I'm just going to scroll it like this. Just pause the video and read everything, because usually my videos will be almost like a 28 minutes 30 minutes video, so even showing the basic features will be that much lengthy. So that's the reason I'm going to make it short as possible. So let's try the Luberri Linux in the search term. I hope it will be spelled like that. I don't properly know. I'm calling like a Luberri Linux. It's correct or not, I properly don't know how it's spelled or how it's said. So let me type in Luberri Linux, and here we have the website. So there will be in different language. You need to translate in the Google Translate. So you just need to type in like a google.com. So first change it to like a English. Now try the translate. Click on the link. Click on the website. So it's already changed in some different language. You need to find like a English. Let me copy this. Let me paste it here. Let me click once again. So the language should be changed to English, so you can properly read it right now. So it is translating in English. A free Basque operating system for use in education. Here is the downloads. Here is news questions, the new version, which is 22.04.3. So it's a November release. So to be honest, I didn't have any topic or anything like that. So that's the reason I downloaded the random Linux distribution. So I already made a video on this Linux in my channel. So if you want to check that previous version, there is already video. You can just search it in my channel. So do let me know in the comment section if you have any topics which I didn't cover in my channel. So you need to search it in my channel before letting know in the comment section, because I covered like a 3000 videos. So I pretty much covered almost every Linux distro. So first search that type of Linux distro which you are trying to recommend, and then if it's not in the channel, do let me know in the comment section. I'm going to make a video on it, because I don't have any topic right now, so that's the reason I'm asking you. So you get the installation guide here. You can go back and download here. Let me show you the downloading process. So here is the download. You need to click on download. It's going to show the downloading. So here you have the ISO file starting download. I'm using a VPN, so that's the reason it's a bit of slow. So the file size, you need to understand, it's almost like a 5.6 GB. If you have a limited internet connection, you need to check, it's almost like a 6 GB. So if you have unlimited internet, you don't need to worry about that. So it's almost 5.6 GB. It's going to take like a maybe 15 minutes if you have like a 10 MB. So I have like a 10 MB per second, so that's the reason it took like a 15, maybe 10-15 minutes. So that's the downloading process, and that's the website. Let's close it. I don't know what it is. Let's close it. Here is the installer. Let's try to open the installer. It's going to take a few seconds to start the installer. So it is still taking a lot of time. So CPUs are almost like a 60-70%. It's not pretty much stable, as you can see, and there should be a reason, because the installer is trying to open in the background, so that may be a case. And 1.8 GB of memory in the RAM. So here we have the installer. It took a lot of time. So you can change the language when you're trying to install if you want to try to English, you need to choose English in the installation. You can change the language there. So the installation will be same, because it's pretty much the installers in the Linux is almost pretty much same and not even complicated. So you can properly install this on your virtual disk, or you can try it in the live boot. So if you ask whether to use it as a main PC or work PC, I don't know whether to say yes or no for you. So it's not a latest version or anything like that. It's almost like maybe 8-9 months old. So I don't think you should be installing this type of Linux system which are pretty much old. So I didn't have any topic, so that's the reason I'm making a video on it, or else I'm not going to make any type of these old videos. But let's try to continue that. So the version is 2023.10.30. It's almost like a 8-9 months old, so you need to have at least the latest ISO files or the latest version of the Linux distros to be always safe. Whatever the operating system it is, you need to always be updated. So that's the reason. So if you're a distro or if you're a guy who love to test the Linux distros, you can just test it in the virtual machine or a live boot. So let's get back to the installer. So here we have English United States. You can type the keyboard or test the keyboard with detect keyboard layout. So after clicking on continue, it's going to take a few seconds. So it's almost like a 2 GB of RAM, and CPU is almost CPU 2 is 100%, CPU 1 is 18.6. And what apps would you like to install to start with? Normal installation, minimal, and install multimedia codecs. Choose normal or minimal. In the normal installation you get all those things, and in the minimal you just get the web browser and basic utilities. So it's clearly up to you whatever you want to choose. Click on continue. I think my voice is going slowly because I already made 2 videos already today. So let's see how it works throughout the video. So preparing Ubuntu drivers, it's going to take like a 30 to 40 seconds. So instead of waiting, let's check some of the things here. System configuration. These are the things you see. So I'm going to show the distro information also. You don't need to wait until the installation is completed. So I'm not going to install this on the virtual disk or anything, because I need to make another video. So these are all the applications you get. You pretty much get all the content creation applications. So I think there is a problem with my mouse. I need to change it, because I think I need to change the battery or something. So I can't do that right now. I'm going to make this video and I'm going to change it. So there was no issue with the anything. It's my mouse problem. So it's wireless, and you need to change the cell. So I forgot, I think. So these are all the applications you get. So you get tons of pre-installed applications like a bloatware things. So if you choosing, so you when you don't know about the installation in the Linux distro, so if you're a normal user, you need to watch like a 5 to 6 videos of how to install the Linux distro on the virtual disk or a main disk. So I'm not going to install this because I don't want to. I need to make another video. So I already made tutorials in my channel, but I don't really remember in which video I installed it on the hard disk or the virtual disk. So because I made like a 3000 videos, it's pretty much hard to point out in which Linux distro I made installation or in the virtual disk or a main disk. So it's better idea to watch like a 5 to 6 videos like a tutorials. They will be just showing the basic installation things, just the installation videos. I made a lot lengthier videos, so instead of my videos you can just watch those videos for the installation process. So I'm going to give the short information about the erase disk or the installation type here. So erase disk and install Ubuntu means Luberri Linux means, or whatever the Linux distro name here. So it's basically going to erase everything in that specific disk you choose. So it's going to delete the current operating system or whatever the files available in that hard disk or a virtual disk. So it's going to erase everything and it's going to install the Linux distro you choose. In this case it's a Luberri. So that's the erase disk. It's like a single boot, and when you choose something else, it's like a dual boot option. You need to create a partition before doing or installing. So you can be installing on that partition, and you should be having like a dual operating system. One should be Luberri Linux and one operating should be the operating system which you already have. So that's the basic thing in the installation. So you need to get all those information of installation before trying or anything. So if you have like a virtual disk, you don't need to worry about that, because you can create a virtual disk later and you can delete a virtual disk. But if you're trying in a main disk or a work PC, you need to be very careful. And about this Linux distro, I don't even recommend, because it's almost 10 months old. So I don't think it is like a LTS or something like that. So we didn't have any information, we just have the version. So you need to go and check Ubuntu 22 whether it's LTS or not. So I think it's based on Ubuntu or something like that, because the version seems like a 22.04. So that's the reason. I'm going to get all the information in the comments, so you don't need to worry about that. So if you want to install, I don't really recommend, but if you still want, you can do that. It's clearly up to you. It's your PC, you need to be responsible for that. So if you want to test it, you can test it in the virtual machine or like a live boot. It's clearly safe. So I'm going to close the installer because I don't want to. I need to make another video. So let's open the terminal and type in some commands to get some information. So let's try to find the terminal. Here is the terminal. Let's make the screen bigger or the terminal bigger so you can properly see. Before that, let's check the information. So you get this version. Let me type in INXI. So you have the kernel 5.15, which is pretty much old, and the storage 60 GB, CPU, here is my CPU. Uptime is almost 20 minutes, even showing the basic things, it's almost 20 minutes. Memory is 1745, so it's almost 1.8 GB. So INXI, I'm not going to read everything because it's going to make a video lengthy. INXI-small b. So desktop is Cinnamon 5.4.12. So you have the Cinnamon desktop environment, and the distro is Linux Mint 21 Vanessa. It's based on Linux Mint 21. So the machine is information which is VMware. Here is my CPU, here is the graphics, network. Just pause video and read everything. So let me type in INXI-F. Hit enter. So you got all the information. INXI-G. cat/etc/issue neofetch, inx-sv8. So we got all the distro information. So I think we pretty much covered everything. We need to just test the stress test and some desktop features, and we can end the video. So if you want HStop, let me try that also. So HStop is not pre-installed, you can install by copying this command. So let's close it. So let's check some desktop features like wallpapers and all those things. So here are some of the customizations. So it's a Cinnamon desktop environment, you know how to change things and customize all those things. So I don't need to show everything for you. So here are some of the desktop features: date and time, internet connection, volume. Here are some power options. So I don't know where is the desktop backgrounds. Let me try to. So we open the desktop backgrounds. Rudiac, I don't know what it is. Let's check the Vanessa wallpapers. Here are some Vanessa Linux Mint. So it's based on Linux Mint. I thought it's based on Ubuntu because the numbers seemed like that. So here are some of the wallpapers. Let's change the basic wallpapers. Here are some customizations. So let's open the applications which consumes a bit of resources, so we can make a stress test. So if you are a viewer who doesn't know what is stress test in my channel, so I'm going to open like a bit of resource consuming applications to see whether this open like a thing. It can judge on that thing whether to use this Linux distro or not. Don't just it on the stress test. You need to judge whether the ISO file is stable or beta version or development version, and you need to judge whether it's laggy or anything, and you need to also check whether the system resources are high without opening any of the applications. So you need to consider all those points. I need to judge whether to use this Linux distro or not. So that's the reason I pretty much show everything for you. So it should be lengthy, but you should be getting the proper information. So let's try to open some heavy resource consuming applications. Remember, it's 8 GB of RAM and I have like a best CPU which is i5 1240p. So even these things, there will be a lot of lag sometimes, so you need to consider all those things. So whether if you ask if you have like a 2 GB of RAM, I don't think it's going to be working on 2 GB of RAM, because even if you open like a 1 or 2 applications, it should be way lot of resource consuming. So just when I opened like a 3 applications, it's almost 2.3 GB, and I have like a good CPU. So if you have like a dual core Pentium and something older or a low end PC, I don't think it's going to be working on those PC. So if you still want to test it, you can test it. I don't think even the 2 GB of RAM can be run the virtual machine. So you should be running like in the live boot maybe. So it's clearly up to you to whether to use those type of Linux distros or not. So if you have like a good end PC, you can try it. So let's open some applications here. Let's open the Synaptic Package Manager. Let's even open the softwares. I don't think there is something here. Startups, I guess. So we don't have anything here. So pretty much from the Cinnamon desktop environment, and most of the applications is from the Luberri Linux, which are content creating applications. So for the content creation, it should be good. Or else you can just go with the Linux Mint latest version and try to install the applications which you want. So that will be a good thing instead of going with the old version. There is already a Linux Mint. It's based on Linux Mint. So instead of going with this Linux distro, you can go with the Linux Mint. So that's my thoughts or my final thoughts whether to use this Linux distro or not. So it's clearly up to you. I'm going to recommend instead of this Linux distro you can go with the Linux Mint, and it's already based on Linux Mint, so why don't you go with the Linux Mint and install the applications, whatever applications you want, you can install that on your own. So everything is working fine, there is no lag or anything like that. So we pretty much opened most of the resource consuming applications. Let's try to see how much of resources it's consuming. So it's almost like a 3.2 GB, and here is CPUs. So if you don't know, there is a beta version of Linux Mint 22 which is Velma. So I already made 3 desktop environment videos. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel. So that's a beta version, you can test it. Don't try to install it on a main PC or work PC because it's a beta version, you need to understand that. So even it's a beta version, it was working pretty much smoothly. So you can check 3 videos of Cinnamon, XFC and Matte. It's you can judge whether to use what desktop environment you want there. So you need to wait for the stable ISO file. I'm going to make the stable ISO file video also, you don't need to worry about anything. As soon as the Linux distros are available in the market, the latest versions, I'm going to be making that videos. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe because I'll be making 2 videos, or else you can just watch my video and check other channels. I don't have any problem with that. So let's try to switch the applications to see whether there is some lag or anything like that. So as you can see, everything is working fine, no lag or anything like that. Just the older version, it's based on the older version, and it's almost like a 9-10 months old ISO file. So it's clearly up to you whether it gets updates or no. You need to find all those things on your own. So there is no lag or anything like that, everything is working fine. So let's check the application information, and I'm going to end the video. So that was the Audacity version. Here is the GIMP. It's a Inkscape, sorry. So that's the reason I already mentioned in the beginning, there will be some misspeaking or misspellings, so you need to ignore all those things, or else you can just blame it in the comment section. I don't have any problem with that. So here is the Inkscape version. Here is the Pix version. Let me close this. Let's check the Thunderbird version. Looks like a Supernova, but we can't even say anything like that. So it's a Supernova. So most of the users doesn't like Supernova. I don't know, because I don't even use the Thunderbird. So it's clearly up to you whether to use those applications or not. Chromium, you get a 118. So here is the software manager. You can go to specific application to get the information here, or you can just install it from here. So let's check some of the things here. So I think there are some updates. So because of the language barrier, I don't know what it is. I think it's like checking the updates or anything like that. So these are all the things you get. So here is the file manager, file system. You can check, customize and do anything. If you are testing, you can customize. If you are not testing, just watch my video and end the video. So you can judge whether to use this or not. I said my thoughts on all those things. So let me check the version and close this. You get the Nemo 5.4.3. So let's check the LibreOffice version 7.3. Here are some startups. Here is the Synaptic Package Manager. Let's check the version. So the latest version is 0.91.3. So you get the older version here. So here are the packages installed. The installed version will be highlighted with the blue box. Installed version will be right here, and the latest version will be right side, and the description will be right in here. So you can just pause video and check all those packages. So these are all the packages installed. So there are few packages installed with the highlighted things. So I'm going to close this thing also. Here is the Celluloid. The version is 0.21. And GIMP, let's check the version. Here is the GIMP version. VLC, I think we saw already VLC version. Let me see again. Here is the VLC version and the rhythm box. So here is the version. So these are all the resources running right now. So these are all the processes at the end of the video. So it's clearly up to you to whether to use this Linux distro or not. There are already plenty of applications available in this Linux distro. But if you want to go with the Linux Mint, you can go with the Linux Mint because it's pretty well-known Linux distro. Instead of this Linux distro, you can go for that because there is already a latest version available in few days. So you can go check it out, Linux Mint 22 videos also. So I think I'm going to end this video because I need to make another video. So thanks for watching. Peace out.